Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to invite you to just think for a minute about one thing that is weighing heavy on your heart this Shabbat. And while for each of us that one thing may be different and it may be the same, each of us carries a lot. It's always challenging to deliver a sermon when it seems like the world is experiencing such grief and pain. Many of us feel this weight of grief as we continue to struggle with the realities of what is happening in communities around the U.S. and around the world. Over the past month, 2 people have been killed in Minnesota. Across the world in Iran, it's reported that thousands of people have been slaughtered by the Iranian government, simply for protesting those in power. The Islamic Republic of Iran has silenced them by cutting off communications and simply murdering them. I'm sure if I asked everyone in this room, we could come up with at least a handful of other horrific events that are happening right here in this community or in the U.S. or around the world. For those of us who watch the news, it's grim and it's troubling. And yet, we are called to continue showing up for our family and friends, our jobs, our community, even when we feel a deep sense of grief about the state of our world. And yet, Shabbat reminds us that Judaism does not ask us to be unbroken in order to be present. Shabbat arrives even when the world feels fractured. As I shared earlier, tonight is Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of song, the Shabbat on which we read the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the famous moment where the sea parts and the Israelites cross over on dry land, and together they sing the words of Mi Chamocha. And if we're honest, many of us may not feel like singing right now. But the Torah introduces this song at a moment, does not introduce this song at a moment of calm. It introduces this song at a moment of fear and uncertainty. The song does not come after the fear, but because of that fear and anxiety the people are experiencing. As the Israelites were fleeing Egypt, we learn that they were frightened by the sight of the Egyptians pursuing them, and they cried out to God. They said, Moses, was it for want of graves in Egypt that you brought us to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us taking us out of Egypt? Is this not the very thing we told you in Egypt, saying, let us be, and we will serve the Egyptians, for it's better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. But Moses said to the people, have no fear, stand by, and witness the deliverance that God will work for you today. For the Egyptians, whom you see today, you will never see again. God will battle for you. You hold your peace. The people stand at the edge of the sea. They're terrified. They face the unknown, and they think that it might be worse than the suffering they've left behind. And then our text takes a surprising turn. God says to Moses, why do you cry out to me? Tell the people to go forward. And it's that point that the people sing, not because The anxiety or fear has vanished, and not because they know what lies ahead in front of them. The sea has closed behind them, but the wilderness is still before them. The song they sing begins with the words, Ozi v'zimrat Yah. God is my strength and my song, and has become my deliverance. When we hear these words chanted in our Torah, it's chanted to a special melody that is just for Shabbat Shirah, for the Song of the Sea. It sounds like this. Ozi v'zimrat Yah, v'yehi li Yeshua, Zelivon ve'u Elohei aviv aromameinu. And if you notice, that chant, that melody continues as we sing the entire verses of the Song of the Sea. Ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la. We notice that the melody is steady, it's repetitive, and it almost sounds like the rocking of the sea. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shout for joy. It sounds less like celebration and more like grounding. Ozi, my strength, Zimrat Yah, my song. Strength and song used together. Not strength alone, not music alone. The Israelites don't sing because they know what's coming next. They don't know the end of the story. They sing because they need something to hold on to in that moment as they do what God says and move forward in that moment. This is what song looks like when fear hasn't disappeared. It doesn't erase it, it steadies us. It reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to keep moving forward. We don't sing Ozi v'zimrat Yah because the world is healed and our path is known. We sing it because it's not. We sing it because we know that the grief and sorrow and anxiety and fear we feel is real. And we know that that wilderness that is ahead of the Israelites and us has not disappeared, and yet we're still here. We know that according to our Torah and according to our history, that resilience does not begin when pain ends. It begins when we find that steady rhythm, that song that allows us to keep going. Our song is that rhythm. Our prayer is that strength. Tonight, if you're holding on to pain or grief or sorrow, uncertainty or fear, please know that we all are. Wherever we are on our journey as we continue through the wilderness, this period of unknown, we must do what we are called to do, to move forward. Shabbat Shirah offers us not an escape from the world's pain, but the courage to face it without being overwhelmed. Ozi v'zimrat Yah, God is my strength and song, a song to carry us through the unknown ahead. And that's how resilience begins, not with certainty, but with presence, not with answers, but with faith. And our decision to keep going together. Shabbat Shalom.